Our next video is going to focus on the laws of logarithms, and hopefully it's something you've seen before. It's just going to be a review, but we have some rules that say that if you have a product of two things like x times y, and you're taking the logarithm to base b of that, well, what you can do is separate that out into a product can become the sum of two logarithms. Both logs must be to base b as well. And when you do that, you could separate the product of x times y into log to base b of x plus log to base b of y. And what's important about this rule is it goes both ways. If you have a sum of two logarithms, both to the same base, you can combine them into a product. Okay, so either way that you want to work this law is just fine. A product can become, a product of two in the brackets can become a separated sum, or a separated sum can be combined to make a product. So instead of a product, the same is true if you have a quotient, then you subtract instead of add. Very similar to the power rules that you've learned. Now, if you have an exponent inside your logarithm, it turns out that that exponent can come out and become a multiplier. And we're going to see that in some examples. So if you had log to base b of x to the r, it's the same as writing r times the log to base b of x. You could take it out and write it as a coefficient. So the reverse is also true. If you had a coefficient out in front, you can take it in and put it as the exponent. Okay, so let's see what that looks like in a few examples. Okay, so we want to combine, or not combine, but use our laws to figure out how to rewrite log to base 2 of 6x. What you could do is think of this as a product, and if you have a product inside the logarithm, you can separate that into a sum of two separate logs. So you could have log to base 2 of 6 and log to base 2 of x. So you could separate those out. Okay, so we'll do the same steps here for b. You could have that separated as two separate logarithms. So you could call it log to base 5 this time of x cubed and log to base 5 of y to the 6th. And now you use the other rule that says that these powers can come out as coefficients. So this would be 3 log to base 5 of x plus 6 log to base 5 of y. Okay, so you're just rewriting these logarithmic expressions. So we'll take a look at an expression that has three different logarithms combined. What's important to notice is that they're all log to base 2. You can't go too much further if it's not log to base 2. They have to be the same base for you to use these rules on. Okay, so we'll do step by step. First thing I'll do is I'll take the coefficients in each case. Okay, so then I will combine with first line. I'll write log to base 2 of s cubed plus log to base 2 of t to the 1/2 minus log to base 2 of t squared plus 1, which I'll put in another bracket, to the 4th power. Okay, now I'm going to use my rule that says that a sum of two things can become a product. So we'll do log to base 2, and we'll combine that into s cubed and t to the 1/2, which I now feel like writing as square root of t. And then we'll still subtract log to base 2 of t squared plus 1 to the 4th. Many of you would have done this all in one step. I like just working it out. So then we'll combine one more step, log to base 2, and this time, since it's a subtract, I have a quotient. And the numerator is going to be s cubed root t, and the denominator is going to be t squared plus 1 to the 4th power. Okay, so using those simple logarithm rules, you can turn products into a sum, you can turn quotients into a subtract, and you can combine those powers, take the power into a coefficient, and all of them vice versa. Okay, so I'll make another video here in a moment that shows you the worked out answers, but for now I want you to try some questions on your own to practice. Good luck.